All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Fish. Tonight's topics: drinking out of pee bottles, monkeys on the bank, and getting your teeth knocked out.
All right, guys, welcome to episode number 3, I guess. Let's Talk Fish. Exciting show tonight. We got Andy Montgomery.
The one and only Andy Montgomery.
The state line here a few minutes down the road.
Yeah.
He's in North Carolina. We're going to count it.
No, I'm South Carolina.
No.
Born and bred.
You're on the north side of 85. That's North Carolina.
Born and bred, South Carolina.
So when somebody says Carolina in your hometown, are they thinking Tar Heels or Gamecocks?
They better be thinking Clemson.
No, they're definitely not thinking that.
That's right. Andy went to Clemson. I forgot about that.
Oh, me.
Yeah, so let's jump into it, Jeff. We got some interesting topics to say the least. Tonight.
I heard that, and I don't know anything about any of the topics. So
I'm only
you're a
familiar
big
with
fisherman.
one.
You're familiar with one of them?
I'm familiar with one of them.
He
All
might
right.
be familiar with more than he knows.
Oh, no.
When I called Andy to have him on the show the other day, he asked me, he said, "Can we talk about anything?" I said, "Absolutely. It's a live show, and we are 100%, not 100% unfiltered and uncensored, but we're fairly uncensored. I mean, we got Andy on the show, so we got to be fairly uncensored."
Easy killer.
Anyway, first topic. Andy brought it up the other day. He said, "Can I talk about drinking out of my pee bottle?" And I said, "What?" I said, "Absolutely, because I want to hear about this." So honestly, guys, I haven't heard anything about this yet. Andy, I'm going to let you take it from here. Brian and I are very interested
I'm
to hear about
interested to
this.
see how you go about doing this.
Well, I was at St. Clair last week fishing the elites, and I tried to get my Indian license. So let me back up. Fishing was really rough. Water was really
it's an
rough.
old Indian trip.
Yeah. And we probably can back up like 9 or 10 years ago to a FLW days when I pretty much got cussed out by a co-owner for not having a pee bucket in my boat.
Oh, I remember you telling me that story.
Yeah.
Really? It was an older fella?
That was in Florida, too.
No, it was on Erie. So I was on Erie, and he had to, take him a leak. Was in whatever 3 or 4 footers, and he said, "Where's your pee bucket?" I said, "What?" He said, "Where's your pee bucket?"
You carry a pee bucket in your
I
boat?
do not. A live well. I opened the live well in.
Me neither. So.
I said, "What's a pee bucket?" He said, man, you pee and then dump it over the side of the boat." I said, "Man, we go over the side. I ain't got no pee bucket." So he got pretty frustrated with me, really did. And so last week I was up there, and I'm getting a little older. I'm 35 now. I know y'all.
Yeah, you're old as dirt.
I know y'all older than me, but it was pretty rough, and I was having some challenges when I needed to pee, so I found my old Gatorade bottle, and that was my pee bottle. In practice, it was pretty rough.
So what's the challenges? Rough weather, big
You
waves?
didn't want to fall in. What you do? Get on the knees down in the floor.
No,
tell us how you do this.
Look here. Hey, I guarantee you both of y'all gonna try it.
Hey, tips from Andy Montgomery, pro angler, on how to pee in rough water.
Yeah, go
Some
ahead.
of us can just sit in the seat and pee. Now, I'm not sure y'all might have to get on your knees and pee and all that, but
It's gonna get bad tonight. It's gonna get bad.
it's actually pretty good way to take a leak in rough water. So anyway, Rob Newell, y'all all know Rob. Yeah. So Rob was at the Major League Fishing the week before, and he'd give me some Gatorade. He couldn't fly him home. The Gatorade was clear, right? So it's clear Gatorade. This is a pretty long story. We got all night.
We got time,
especially for a story about
Yeah,
pee.
we
That
want to know.
started with getting cussed out for not having a pee bucket. So,
But you were carrying it for yourself, though, right?
right. So we're fast forwarding several years. We're
I don't
fast
think
forwarding.
that was the intended purpose at the time.
Yeah, because
it wasn't.
the
No,
elites
it
don't
wasn't.
have co-an. Well, they got marshals, so
Yeah.
could have been carrying one.
No, it was in practice. It was in practice.
Oh, okay.
It was
Okay.
practice, man.
Okay.
We're talking about practice.
Okay,
You know
gotcha.
what we're talking about?
Gotcha.
So this
We
was
got
like a MacGyver type situation.
This is practice we talking about. All right. So, of course, it's rough one day. I see that Gatorade bottle laying in the floor of my boat. Worked out pretty good. So rest of the practice, I'm using that one Gatorade bottle. Where it about blowed out one time. I about lost my pee bottle. So I started putting a little lake water in it. I dump my pee out, rinse it out, put a little lake water in it, throw it in the bottom of the boat because the lake water hold it in from blowing out. So the last day of practice, I'm planning on going fishing in the Indian reservation over there. And I try to get my license, the system's down, can't get my license. I'm not real sure where the line is, right? So anyway, last day of practice, here I go over towards the Indian reservation. They'll take your boat over there, take you and your boat if they catch you with no license. So I know I'm close to the refuge, and here I see a boat coming. I said, oh, Lord, that's my luck. That's the cops. Long story short, it was the Canadian cops.
Is this going to be like the Dumb and Dumber where he handed the bottle of beer that was actually pee? Is that what?
No, it ain't quite that bad. So,
He did hand that to the police, didn't he?
You know, right? Once they was checking me, and I didn't have my phone that day. They wanted my Canadian license. I didn't have my phone. I felt like I had my license on my phone, you know, because we get them on the internet a lot of times, save them on our email.
Screenshot it.
Yeah, the one day I forgot my phone. I ain't got no phone. Can't find
That's
my
not
license.
smart on Lake Erie. That's another lesson. Always carry a phone when you're on a Great Lake.
You're exactly right, and that is a good lesson. But when you get halfway out there and you realize you ain't got your phone, you don't turn around and go get it. So anyway, I'm like a nervous wreck. You know, I'm thinking I'm going to Canadian jail. They gonna take my boat, and you know, I ain't got no phone to call my wife to come get me out. I mean, I'm just doomed. So my mouth's dry as it can be. It's terrible. I mean, my mouth's dry, really dry. And that you know, my Gatorade I've been drinking is the same color as the water. That was the bad deal. So they finally let me go. All was good, and I'm pulling off through there. I'm like, golly, man,
Sweating bullets, got the cotton mouth.
That's right. So I just grab that Gatorade bottle. As soon as it hits my mouth and I know it's pure lake water, I know what I'd been doing in that Gatorade bottle. I spit it over the side of the boat. That's I did not actually swallow.
So there was a
any
mixture.
water.
There was some lake water in there.
Oh yeah, it was definitely a lot of lake water. It's the thought, man. I mean, you act like this ain't no big deal. You know what I mean? We're gonna find out if it's a big deal.
Well, I was wishful thinking. I guess had me hoping you actually drank a bottle of your own pee.
Yeah, and then I let you down. You like, dang. But maybe next week's show we'll let you bring your own personal pee bottle in here and let you drink a washed out, rinsed out pee bottle, and we'll see how big a deal
I'm
you
good.
think it is.
I'm good. I think I'm good. Yeah, I drank out of.
I don't even want to watch that.
One of my younger brothers. I have an older brother and a younger brother. My younger brother was spitting in a water bottle one time, and I was riding to Virginia with him, and he had it side by side next to my water bottle, same type of water, and I just wasn't paying attention, picked it up, took a swig of it, and
Coca-Cola.
And Clay he about wrecked because he busted out laughing so hard. But he didn't laugh so hard when I spit it right back on the carpet of his Dodge Charger or whatever he was driving at the time. So, but yeah, I know the feeling. But all right, so yeah.
So moral of the story is get 2 different colors of Gatorade.
No, the moral
of the story is don't carry a pee bottle. Just go over to the side.
There's gonna be a time, brother, when you can't do that.
When I'm 90.
Huh?
When I'm 90.
Okay.
I can see it being difficult in 4-foot rollers.
It was actually, you know, I just tried it, man. I just tried it.
Take the bottle out of the equation.
Starting to get seasick already or something.
I did get sick,
queasy?
but I don't think that day I was. No. But I did get sick a few times. I get sick. Fish for a living, get sick. It's bad.
Yeah, that is bad.
Doesn't mix well.
No.
Next topic, monkeys on the bank. So I'm a little lost here. Y'all gonna have to fill me in. Supposedly there was a monkey sighting by Andy and Bryan one day.
Supposedly. Andy probably remembers it better than I did because I'd pretty much forgotten about it until he brung it up. But we were on Lake Norman, and we were going down the bank, and we see something, and I remember, I don't know which one of it was. It was either me or Andy said, dude, that's a monkey.
In the rock quarry. Oh, Lord.
Was it in the rock?
It was in the rock quarry.
in the rock
Brian McWorman, we just gave away one of his secret holes. If you fishing the BFL this week.
Yeah, that's a secret hole, all right.
Race Brian to the rock
There'll
quarry.
be 37 boats that start there Saturday
It
morning.
was secret at one time.
It was at one time, about 10 years ago. But anyway.
15.
Yeah.
You're old now, man.
It probably was 15.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Has it been that long?
We've been professional.
Chasing rabbits.
All right.
Come here,
Anyway, Monkey. I'm gonna let Andy go with the monkey story.
So we go around this dock, and I said, dude, there's a monkey. And he don't remember it good, which is good he don't remember, dude, because he pretty much horse laughed me out of the boat when I told him it was a monkey.
I really do. I remember the story of the monkey, but that's about it.
Yeah, well, you horse laughed me out of the boat. That's exactly what happened. It was a cat standing on his back feet, and it looked just like a monkey. It was a dark cat.
I don't know if I would have added this into the topics now, knowing what I know now. That it was
You tell me, you
cat.
looked at a cat from 50 yards away.
They look like
face.
cats.
They look like a monkey if they stand up on the
It's a
back.
little red vest on.
That's a good
In a little hat, you know.
Hey,
I remember I had to back up, and we had to look for it again to see if we could find the monkey.
See, I didn't remember that part, but now that he said it, we was actually idling out.
Yeah, we was
I said,
idling
He
out.
made you back up in the middle of a tournament to look at a monkey.
To see if we could see the monkey again.
I said, there's a monkey over there. He said, there ain't no monkey.
That's a good use of a tournament.
And the cat was actually walking around.
That's a legitimate use of tournament time.
Getting your teeth knocked out. Andy can tell us all about that. Actually, we got a pre-show question submitted by, was it Nathan?
Right.
Nathan Price. Andy knows him. Okay, so wanted to know about Andy's fake front tooth.
So I got 2 fake lower front teeth, and that was one of my buddies growing up, and we're fishing down the bank. He sets the hook on. He says it's a fish. I hope it's a fish. It probably was a stump.
Can't prove it, can you?
Nope, can't prove it.
So
Sinker
it's
goes-
got to be at nighttime.
Huh? No, daytime.
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 All right, I don't see that.
He's on the front deck with me. Yep. So he sets the hook. Boom, sinker goes right in my mouth, and it don't hurt. I don't know what's happening. No. And my mom.
It don't hurt because you were knocked unconscious, or
No, it just knocked them out. You just
numb so hard.
You just
it's
don't
numb.
hurt
Knocked
it.
them
But,
clean out,
Yeah,
man.
I got pieces of teeth in my mouth, so I start spitting them out, and smile at him, and he freaks out. I'm talking about freaks out. Now I got my teeth knocked out, and here's my buddy freaking out. Now my mama worked in the dental industry her whole life, so he's rolling around in the floor of the boat. Oh, your mama's gonna kill me. Your mama's gonna kill me. Oh, your mama's
I
gonna
can
kill me.
see Pam doing that.
Yeah, so here's the deal now. I got my teeth knocked out, and I'm having to console the joker that just knocked my teeth out.
because he's about to lose it because he feels so bad.
I'm like, Bucket, dude, you got to get it together now. We got to go, So I had to drive myself back because Bucket's
Spitting
big.
teeth over your shoulder while you're
Spitting
driving.
teeth. We stop and get some milk. That's what you see on TV. Get you some milk.
Milk when you knock your teeth out.
If you don't
drink
know
it
that?
or put your tooth
No, you
in?
put your tooth
Well, I never
in.
have a
Yeah,
tooth.
I've heard that. I've heard that.
But that's only to save the roots. Mine got knocked clean off. I learned
If
that.
they're busted in little pieces, milk's no
It
good.
don't work. But we had
so
a
good.
carton of milk full of little old teeth rattles, everything. I thought
Oh,
it-
you put your teeth in the milk.
He's
I
gonna
thought,
do
you,
a
I
teeth
thought you
graft.
drink the milk to help.
No, it'll save the roots, I think, if you get your tooth. See, you learn something.
I did learn something.
Absorb the calcium.
Pretty
Calcium
much
good for you.
everything.
Milk fixes
Yeah.
everything, yeah.
Pretty much the go-to.
Vitamin D milk.
I thought they
Can't be
just
none
super
of that
glue 'em back
2%,
together.
1%.
Super glue them in like a little puzzle. Just put.
And so
Well, we can't tell you have 2 fake teeth if it makes you feel
right.
better. So
never have a cavity in them 2 teeth.
that's
Hey,
a guarantee.
that's the way to
Or your
go
money
right there.
back, right?
That's right. Hey, when I go to the dentist, I tell you, skip them 2. They good. Lifetime.
Did you get a lifetime warranty on them if you knock them out again?
I ain't sure about that.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. We got some questions we're going to answer. We got some pre-show questions. We're going to take your questions live. Everybody, thanks for watching. We're excited to have Andy on with us tonight. See you in a minute.
Get hands-on with Quaker State. The more miles you tack onto your odometer and the older your engine gets, the more likely your engine seals will start to break down, which can cause your engine to leak. That's why we made Quaker State High Mileage for vehicles with over 75,000 miles. It's formulated with special seal swell conditioners to help reduce leaks, because any other solution to handling those leaks can get a little messy. That's better. Quaker State, just damn good oil.
All right, guys, we're back, and we got a few questions here. I guess we can skip the missing tooth question since Andy's
We've
already
already
covered
covered
that.
that.
So, Nathan, if you're watching, he answered your question with detail, and apparently you needed as much help as he did that day, according to Andy. So, first question is from Robert Connor. Robert wants to know, and this is a good question, how do you fish and what techniques do you use with high boat traffic, on lakes with waves pushing up on the bank. So yeah, that's an interesting question. We've all faced those conditions, especially in the summertime at Lake Murray at the Cup early this year.
Yeah,
of course, we were fishing offshore, but I'm assuming Robert's specifically talking about fishing shallow because he's talking about waves crashing on the bank and things like that. It's a little bit different when you're fishing offshore. But yeah, we'll let Andy's special guest night. We'll let Andy start with that.
Oh, special guest.
Yeah, special guest.
We deal with that a lot around here, Lake Wiley, Lake.
Oh
Gordon.
yeah, absolutely.
Lots of seawalls. We're always fishing shallow, and it actually helps the bite, in my opinion. It can affect the fishermen. It can make it challenging for us to fish effectively. But there's certain situations where the waves will be just like wind, so they break up the surface. They create a lot of bait movement and stuff like that. So you do not shy away from it. That's for sure. No. The only time you'd probably shy away from it is if it's so bad that it affects you fishing effectively, if that makes sense. So
where you can't control the boat.
You can't control the boat. You can't control your cast.
All right, we got to stop the show. There's a spider creeping down from the ceiling. He's about to land on Matt's hand. He's on the paper right there.
I don't know if anybody can see that.
Look at him. He's crawling around.
Could be the world's smallest spider. So apparently somebody has a little.
Look here. No, don't kill him yet.
Spider phobia.
I like spiders.
Y'all see what's funny?
Let's give him the Brian.
Where'd the spider go?
He's gone now.
He's gone.
He's so small you can't even see him.
We need to produce a bite.
All right, listen. Nobody wants to see you chase baby spiders.
Now I'm gonna feel like something's crawling on me the rest of the night.
He's probably on his way up your leg right now.
All right, back to the question. So Andy, you answered it pretty well, and yeah, I think Andy touched on it. It's never a bad thing. Actually, I saw. You fished this Cup as a co-angler with me in 2006 on Logan Martin. Mm-hmm. You remember how bad the boat traffic got on the weekend on Saturday? I don't know if you remember, but long story short. There's a lot of seawalls and stuff on that lake. Correct. And I saw the spotted bass, I think,
that's where
react even more in your favor than largemouth do when you have those conditions. Mm-hmm. They get up there, they really get active, they'll blast top waters, they'll do all kinds of crazy stuff, and they'll get super, super shallow. And I think it knocks some of the crawfish loose from those rocks and things like that. But go ahead,
spots and smallmouth seem to me more susceptible to that pattern than largemouth do, especially on a clear water reservoir. Somewhere that normally you don't get much color in the water, especially if it's a red clay bank or something. You'll get 5 or 10 feet of dirty water, right there against the bank. And spots and smallmouth, they will crash the bank right there. So that's something to look for, especially if you're on a spotted bass or a smallmouth lake. I mean, if you get that bite, those smallmouth pull right up there in that mud line. You can catch them burning spinnerbait, crankbait, top water, like Matt said.
That happened at Douglas Lake. You didn't fish this invitational because you'd already won Norman, so you didn't have to. But I went to Douglas last fall, the one that James Watson won. It wasn't Douglas, it was Norris. Not Douglas. Norris. But probably all those lakes probably fish similar. And up one of those rivers, there's worldwide. Up one of those rivers, there's a bunch of red clay banks, and it wouldn't take 2 or 3 boats to run by to muddy up those banks, and there'd be a really defined mud line within about 6 to 8 foot of that bank, and wherever I could find a defined mud line, I could throw a spinnerbait and catch smallmouth. And
y'all still looking for the spider?
No, I'm not looking for the spider. The spider's gone, Brian. But yeah, so definitely take advantage of that. Okay, here's a good question from Cameron. He says, if you could choose one bait to throw for the rest of your life, what bait would you throw for the rest of your life if you could choose one bait?
Who wants to start?
We'll go around the room. It's pretty easy for me. It'll be a jig. I want to know how Bryan Thrift's going to answer this question.
I'm going to
be a jig.
I'm going to second what Andy. I mean, I like top waters, but that's too general.
Well, it depends on if you narrow it down. Are we tournament fishing or fun?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's making a living. Okay. I think we got to go with making a living with one bait the rest of your life. Tournament.
Well, Andy, I'm going to agree with Andy and say a jig because, I mean, you're dealing with a big fish bait and a single hook, and it's got a high catch ratio.
You can fish it in all different depths.
Absolutely. So I'm going to say a jig too, Cameron.
All right, I'm going to take a page out of Nixon's book. I'm going to say some type of worm.
You are the straight head master.
Straight worm. Sometimes they won't bite a jig, but they'll always bite a worm. Always.
That is true. That is very true. So, yeah, I mean, that's probably the best go-to all around.
It is.
Bait.
I mean, that's
just a soft plastic.
Personal preference is going to be a jig, but I mean, if you get down to the science of fishing, it's a shaky head's going to be the deal.
Yep.
I mean, and it doesn't have to be a shaky head. It could be Texas.
You prefer it to be a shaky
a worm,
head.
you can fish it so many different ways. I mean, I can fish it like a top water. I can fish it suspended, wacky rigged. I can fish it on the bottom. I can do everything, which you kind of can with the jig too. You can swim it, whatnot, but
yeah,
that's
we're
where
an
I'm
extremely versatile bait. So, all right, let's take one more quick break, Jeff, and then when we come back, guys, thanks for watching. We got about 65 people on live right now. We are getting ready to take some questions live. We're going to read through. I'm sitting here looking at some pretty funny comments. We're going to read through some of the comments. So stay on. We'll be right back to answer your questions live. All right, guys, we're back. Looking through some of the questions, a lot of people are agreeing with us, saying theirs is a jig also. And let's see. Roger Matt said, so enough about fishing pea bottles, knocked out teeth, and finding out Thrift is afraid of spiders. Who's going to shoot the biggest buck this season? Must be local, North Carolina or South Carolina animal. So, Andy, you hear that? No Texas bucks allowed, especially high fence.
Yeah.
I'm going with Matt on this one. Matt's already showed me some pictures.
Yeah.
I think he's got it tied down somewhere.
They're definitely not tied down. I can promise you that. But
I think you need to show the pictures.
no, you never show your big buck pictures to the public, man. Don't you know the secrets of hunting? Brian's still new at this game, Andy. We're going to have to learn.
I've been out of the hunting loop for a while. I've been out of the loop for a while.
But yeah, Roger, that we might just get a little big buck pot going. Of course, Andy usually messes around and kills a good one in South Carolina every year, and I mean a good one. He usually, and then there's Brian who shoots them off the back porch 2 days in a row.
Yeah, they're bedding under his neighbor's back.
He said, "Man, I threw up my gun, and I literally had to stop." Because all I could see was my neighbor watching TV through my scope. So I had to let the deer clear my neighbor's window before I shot him, and that was a 10? He was actually had splits.
It was an 11.
It was an 11 pointer, about 18 inches wide.
Yeah.
And then the next day,
2 days.
was that the first day you hunted?
2 days.
Was that the first day you hunted, you killed that one?
Second day.
Second day he hunted, he killed that one. 2 days later, he kills, which we only get 2 buck tags where we live here in Cleveland County. And 2 days later, he kills an even older, not as big a rack, but a really nice, mature 8-pointer.
Yes.
In his
biggest
backyard.
deer I've ever killed in my life.
In his backyard, it's like it's a big yard, a little bitty tiny tree line, and a big open field behind it. So you deer hunters know. I'm wondering where are these deer coming from? Well, it's opening week of rifle season around here. It's Thanksgiving week, and they're rutting. But he's like, oh man, they run across the road and walk down my driveway, and then I have to wait till they get past 3 or 4 houses till I shoot them. But
it's not city limits. It's perfectly legal.
No, it's perfectly legal. Yeah, y'all don't get any ideas. It's 110% legal. Everything he's doing.
I've got them trained. Look, I've got them trained. See, I'm in the middle of this 20-acre grass field, so I mow 2 lanes. I've got my shop behind my house, and I take my lawnmower and I mow like 2 10-foot strips down each side of the shop, and they meet at the back of the fence line. And these deer, they don't like walking in the tall grass. They walk down the short mowed grass. It's nice. It's not tickling their belly, and they come right down through there.
All right, enough said. We know.
There we go.
Brian,
y'all make this too hard. Y'all make this way too hard.
I saw a good question.
Don't want to tickle the belly of the deer.
Yeah,
exactly.
Deer don't like their bellies tickled.
He had them named Joe and Bo before he shot them.
I mean, they're just like anything else. They take the path of least resistance.
That is true.
Okay,
they're fat. They lazy. They won't go here. They want the easiest way.
Guys, we got plenty of time tonight, so we're going to stretch this show out a little bit longer and interact a little bit more with you guys live, take some more questions, so keep them rolling. Will Hamilton, thanks for your question. He says, and this is a great question because we all encounter lakes like this, how do you find a quality bite in a lake full of non-keepers? We all fish lakes that seem to have a lot more short fish than they do keeper fish.
Yes.
So we'll start with Brian on this one. How do you target those better quality fish in a lake that's chock full of non-keeper fish?
I usually take the more bites is better approach. The more
So you're going for quantity?
Yes, I'm going for quantity, and I'm going to play the odds that if I catch 80, 5 of them's got a chance of being good ones. That's what I like, especially in a 3 or 4 day event. Now, if you're talking a 1 day shootout, that's a little different. Then I might throw a bigger bait or something like that and try to target bigger fish. But if I'm in a marathon 4 day event, I'm going to definitely go for numbers.
That's a big, that's a big deal. Is a multi-day tournament versus a single-day tournament.
Marcus Keith said, "A thrift, keep up that hunter safety." Laugh out loud. I think he's talking about you not shooting your neighbors.
Hunter safety. Look here, I got a hunter safety card in my wallet.
In Brian Dyer, he does have the ultimate deer funnel. There's no doubt. I mean, if I could line my property with houses on both sides, I'd probably.
They're
do it
not
myself.
like they're real close. I mean, they're 300 yards from me.
And then he wants to brag about it. He's like, man, there ain't nothing to hunt like fishing,
Yeah, as soon as I killed both of them, I texted Andy a picture and I said, I don't remember what I said.
It's something like, ain't nothing to hunt. And I'm like,
That's right.
These deer we hunt.
Did you finish your answer to Will about targeting the quality fish?
Targeting the quality fish, I did. I was going to follow up on Brian.
Well, and I agree. I think we're programmed as professional anglers to figure out patterns that are going to get us the most bites.
Multi-day terms. That's a big deal.
It's got to be a
multi-day tournaments.
You fish the local one-day shootouts a lot different than you fish a multi-day.
What Andy said, and this may be what Will's doing. He may be fishing one-day events, and if you're doing that, there are ways to specifically target. Now, be ready, like Brian and Andy said, for a lot less bites.
Right.
But I mean, you can throw big swim baits.
It depends on too if you're fishing team tournaments. Like I know when me and Andy and me and Matt fish team events, usually one of us is fishing for bites
Brian's
and
always
one's
throwing
fishing
shaky
for
head.
big ones. And that's what we do a lot. I mean, one of us throwing jig or top water and the other one's throwing shaky head trying to get bit. And that's what we do in team tournaments, and usually it works out. So,
sometimes in team tournaments, one of us just drive the boat and the other one fish.
Yes, that is true too.
Yeah, that's and one of us nets and the other one catches. So
That's the beauty
we're
of
not
the
going
team
to tell y'all
tournament.
who does what.
And that's the beauty of the team tournament. It doesn't matter who catches them because you're both getting paid the same.
We all get our time to shine.
Split the money at the end of the day.
That's right. That's right. Brian, I've never seen him lean up against a butt seat and drink 3 sun drops and smoke 2 packs of Marlboro Lights, but when he's my team partner, he gets darn good at that.
Hey, I catch big ones back there.
He does. I'll catch a limit, and then about 9 o'clock, we're fishing a 6 to 9:30 event, and about 9 o'clock, he'll roll up and set the hook. And if he says, I don't need the net, I go for the net because it's a big one.
Or if it's got a little head shake.
Yeah, he said it's got a little head shake. It'll roll up and be about a 4-pound spot or something. So, yeah. All right, back to the question, guys. Let's see. Brian Dyer asked a deer hunting question, which, well, this would be an easy answer for Andy and myself. Which do you guys like more, bow or gun hunting?
That ain't even
deer.
close.
That's
Bow.
not even close, bow hunting. Andy and I like a challenge. However, Mr. Thrift,
I don't own a bow, so
you don't own a bow. You used to have a bow.
I had a bow in college back when I hunted a little bit.
So, what's your answer?
I like a gun, but let me tell you
There you go.
story on bow hunting.
Like the easiest possible way to get a deer.
The gun.
Now, you was talking about real quick. Now you was talking about drinking 3 sun drops and smoking cigarettes. That's what he did before he shot these buckets.
Yes, they used to that.
He had
They
to
own
put
bucks.
the lid
I mean,
back on the
they
sun
smelling
drop before he
trash.
shot
They
it.
walking down the highway. These deer used to that stuff. You come in there smelling like doe pee and stuff like that, they gonna know something's out of place. You got to be in the environment. That's what hunting's about. Y'all hunting different breed of deer than I am. But anyway, I used to bow hunt. I used to hunt a lot back when I was in school before I got married, and then once I started fishing professionally, I figured it'd be best if I was at home when I was at home instead of sitting in the woods. So I kind of quit, but
Matt, dude, he just kind of throwed us
I
under
just
the
throwed
bus.
y'all under the bus. See, y'all need to be better.
If Emily and Sharon watching,
A lot of that stuff, doesn't bother me anymore. I've been doing that for years. I'm good, man.
The reason I quit bow hunting, though, this is a good story too. All right, this was I was probably my first year of college or something. I had this place back when I was still living at home, Mom and Dad. There was a big oak field, a grass pasture.
So you was at Mom and Dad's, correct?
I was living at Mom and Dad's, but I wasn't hunting there. I was hunting on a strawberry farmer I used to work for when I was in high school.
I figured you was hunting on campus at UNC Charlotte. But.
No, I did about get kicked out of school, but that's another story. We'll do that next week. It's a good one, too. I won't get into that because that's going to be a good one. That's going to topic next week. Y'all going to have to watch that. But anyways, so it's like hardwoods, cut over, pasture, and cornfield all met. And there's this one big tree right in the middle. So I climb up this tree. I'm bow hunting. I got 5 or 6 arrows in my quiver. Anyway, I shoot all my arrows. Ain't hit nothing.
Come on, Robin.
At deer, wait.
At deer.
Okay.
At deer. Climb down out of my stand. Pick one up from under the tree that I shot straight down and missed. Knock it. Shoot it one on the ground. Pick 2 more up.
Did you hit it?
Climb back up in the tree. Shoot both of them. And ain't hit a deer yet.
I'd probably give up myself.
I believe I
So that's 8 arrows later and no deer.
No deer.
Okay.
I mean, they still running around me. I'm sitting up in the trees.
That's what I'm talking about. I want to know where this tree and this little pinch point is what I want to know.
Look, I done shot at 5, got down, shot at 1 on the ground, climbed back up, and shot at 2 more with retrieved arrows, and still ain't hit. Now, this bow, it didn't shoot with about 140 feet per second. You could just about outrun it, but still.
Jennifer said she thinks Bryan Thrift should write a deer hunting book.
he could.
All right, hey guys, I got a good question here. Let's see. Let's go back to Tyler. Sorry, I missed your question. This is a great question too. How do each of you start out trying to find fish on a new lake and then expanding on what you found to find better quality fish? If you're catching a lot of 2-pound fish, well, we kind of just touched on that, Tyler. As far as we're programmed to really figure out patterns that will apply to multiple day events. That being said, if you're catching a lot of 2-pounders, you're in the right area. You know, it's just a matter of time. As long as that lake's got them, you're probably going to come across a good fish. But
especially in like a pre-spawn type situation, because
yeah, absolutely.
Then in a pre-spawn deal, you'll have big ones grouped up with little ones. They'll be all different sizes because they're going to stage on the same place before they spawn. Now, you get into summertime or something like that, or fall schooling fish, they tend to be more grouped up by size. So keep that in mind, too.
All right, another question from Tracy here. For someone that's new to fishing, what's the best advice on crankbait colors? If you go to the tackle store, it's very overwhelming with colors. You know, everybody's got 20, 30, 40 colors nowadays. And I understand, you know, where you're coming from. How do you know what color or size to throw on what lakes? I'll give my 2 cents. Well, go ahead, Andy. Go ahead.
I'm just going to do the colors, and I'll let y'all take it from there. And nothing's exact science now, but early springtime, we really like crawdad colors. We like the redder hues. And then when you move into summer and fall, then things are more traditional shad colors. So just early spring crawdad type imitations, and then later in the year shad, and y'all can go into the sizes and all that.
Yeah, Tracy, I think, Andy, I mean, there's really only 3 or 4 colors. I try to keep it simple. The crawdad colors, which are your orange and your red and browns. Summertime, I like a chartreuse blue back and then natural shad colors. And then on into the fall, I just like your natural shad patterns. As far as size, it really applies more to, I think, the lake that you're fishing. You know, you want to try to match the hatch. Some baits, some lakes, they'll really attack a big giant bait like a, like a 30 plus or a 10XD or something like that. But then other lakes, they want something small. So
that's pretty much the same way I go, but I tend to let watercolor dictate what I carry. I want a bait that's going to be effective in really dirty water, a bait that's going to be effective in stained water, and then a bait that's going to be effective in clear water. So for situations like that, I'm going to have my chartreuse and blue, chartreuse and black for the real dirty water. And then you're kind of not really translucent baits, but you're more like sexy shad colors, your whiter patterns for stained water. And then I'm going to have a couple translucent colors for clear water. And that pretty much covers me.
Yeah, if you forget what we just said, we'll just post it at natural shad colors, crawdad colors, and your chartreuses. So keep that in mind. It keeps it pretty simple. That way you're not overwhelmed. You don't have to buy 40 or 50 colors of every bait.
Yeah, because there's a lot of colors. They really overlap. They kind of catch you more than they do the fish. They'll all catch fish, but you don't need 2 of this shade of white and 2 of this shade of white. Just pick your favorite one.
That's right. All right, so we got some more questions coming in, guys. Thomas Coomers said, "What is your favorite topwater baits?"
Favorite topwater bait, whichever one they bite.
I'm with Andy on that.
They're all fun.
Now,
no doubt.
I guess in a tournament situation, if I can catch them on the topwater that I can cover a lot of water with, that I can move, like a whopper plopper, a buzz bait, stuff that I can chunk and wind, that's always going to be better because I'm going to cover more water. But there's certain situations where you're going to have to fish a walking bait, a sexy dog, a spook, stuff like that, that's going to slow you down. So first off, I'm going to try to catch them on something I can really cover a lot of water. If that don't work, then I'm going to go to the more walking baits and the pop-Rs and stuff like that. Yeah,
that's the way I am. And I'm a sucker for topwater. I'll have 7 topwaters tied on, 7 different ones. If I feel like there's a topwater bite, I'll have a buzz bait, a plopper, a D-pop, a rambler, a frog. I'll have 2 or 3 different kinds of frogs on, have 2 or 3 different colors, just because I like to do it all. That's hands down the funnest fishing you can do. If I can get on an air frog bite, that's the funnest bites you can get on. So I try to have different sizes and different styles of bait because you never know if, like Andy said, if they'll bite a fast moving bait or they want something slow. So I go to the lake with all of them tied on.
And that is the truth. He has every single one tied
I will literally have 7 to 10 topwater baits tied on.
Okay, guys, next from Ryan. With fall fishing upon us, why don't you touch on big baits versus small baits for schooling bass or calling one up? A lot of this went on at Lake Murray.
Yeah, y'all take this one because y'all just had a bunch of experience.
I kind of touched on this.
We talked about it a little bit last week.
Yeah, we got a pre-show question from a fella, and he was talking about schooling fish in the fall and smaller baits, and then I talked about even using crappie jigs and little blade baits, rooster tails, and nests like that to catch those fish sometimes. But calling fish up, it really shines on spotted bass fisheries like Lanier and Hartwell and places like that. Those fish suspend over top brush piles and cane in the summertime. You can use big, noisy walking baits to call them up, big pencil poppers like what were so popular at the Cup. I hate to echo what we talked about 2 weeks ago, but at the Cup you had these packs of bass that they might have been over 30 and 40 foot of water, but they were only 5 and 10 foot underneath the surface. So that's one thing about calling those fish up. You're not having to call them a super long distance. They're out there for one reason, and that's to eat. But in the fall, they typically, in a lot of lakes, we find them feeding on smaller forage. This year's hatch, especially around here. You look at Norman,
especially
and Wiley.
Coming up on the time of year we are right now. Once we got the first cold front coming in this week, that's when those shad start migrating back in the creeks. And you're talking about, like Matt said, tiny shad. They may be an inch and a half
long, yeah.
And that's this year's hatch of shad. And those, when they start moving back, you'll get a group of fish that get on them, and you got to throw small baits. You'll be watching 3 and 4 pounders crash them and can't catch them for nothing. You downsize to the little baits like Matt said, the little rooster tail, stuff like that, and just throw it on 6-8 pound line and catch some big fish on it.
You said cold front coming in this week.
It is.
Guess what comes in Saturday?
Deer season. I got
Don't tell him. Huh? We want to see if he's really a deer
I was
hunter.
so excited. I just had to say deer season.
Hey, crossbows are legal in North Carolina now.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
I could get a crossbow and I don't have to have a
trigger,
bow.
and you can put a scope on it.
I could put a scope on it.
All you got to do is get your rangefinder and you'd be good, wouldn't you?
I don't need a rangefinder.
How far is it?
How many arrows does the quiver hold on a crossbow?
Well, your arrows are only about that long.
Yeah.
Wait, they don't even call them arrows. What do they call them? Bolts? Yes.
Bolts, yeah.
What bolts. That little house you hunting out of, you could just leave 2 dozen arrows up there all the time. You ain't worry about a quiver. You ain't got to carry them in and out of the woods, man. You got to remember that.
We got to start talking about hunting.
Oh, really? We getting in trouble?
Hey, Adam,
we said enough deer talk.
She ain't heard nothing yet. Season's coming in Saturday, baby.
That's because she's fuming because Brian said he didn't hunt because he spent time with his wife.
Yeah. Well, you can hunt with me and they can hang out together. Problem solved. All right. Will said for thrift, I want to know this. What mentally separates you from all the other anglers?
You want me to answer that?
Give me a pen, Andy. Yeah, Andy. Hold on.
I'm going to let Andy answer
that.
because I don't know.
I want to see what
I'm
Andy's
interested
got.
to know myself.
And this is going, if there's any of his fellow competitors watching, they going to either, right
here.
This is going to come to a shot.
Whoa, you need to whisper it to me.
No, hey, this is an uncensored live show.
That's right. What makes Bryan Thrift so good, number one, is he's one of the most confident guys on tour. You can't believe that, can you? By the way he talks.
I don't believe that.
He does believe that. I promise you. I promise you he believes that.
I can somewhat believe that.
Because I
it.
fished team tournaments with him now. Now, let me tell you now, it's a whole different ball game. It's like, we're going to win today. There's no way we're not going to win. But then when you fish against him on tour, he's like, man, I don't know how to catch one. I ain't no way I'm going to catch one. But inside, he's the most confident guy on tour. I promise you that.
Well, it's different. Around here, I know what we need to do to win.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Apparently, he knows
may
a lot of
not
places
win,
what it takes
but
to
I
win.
probably know.
All right, the secret's out.
Hey, I'm not done. I'm telling you.
I'm sorry, Andy.
So here's
I got to step out the room.
I
think that's
confidence
fine.
breeds. When he ties a bait on, he knows 100% it's got the right hooks on it. He's got the right line for the
I
bait.
believe that.
That breeds confidence. And number three, I guess. Number three, and this
Keep going, brother.
This is
I'm
kind
listening.
of a secret too. The dude is the best deep water fisherman in the world.
No.
Period.
He's wrong.
He is.
No,
See, that's right. I mean, he said he is deep. Now I got a lot of respect for the pioneers.
He's got a sixth sense about him as far as those deep
He is the
fishers.
best deep water fisherman in the world, and he don't always.
You know,
fish
and
for
everybody gets. Brian's too humble to say anything, but everybody gets this impression. Brian grew up around Lake Wiley, Lake Norman, as did Andy and myself, and they think they're dock fishermen. All they do is skip a jig. You don't gain the success that this man's gained, or Andy for that matter, without being an extremely versatile angler. And Brian is as well versed as any angler I've ever seen in the world, and can adapt quicker. He fishes fast. He doesn't fish as fast as people think he does sometimes.
No, I don't.
He knows when to slow down.
That's the beauty of it.
But
You got to know when to slow
But he can
down.
fish fast efficiently. A lot of people try to fish fast, but they don't do it efficiently.
Correct, but the deal is he don't always fish fast shallow.
No, that's right. I've seen.
I'm letting
He needs to stop. But
Why is he kicking me under the table instead of you?
He
He's supposed to be
fishes
kicking
fast
you.
deep, and I'm telling you, he's the best deep water fisherman.
Yeah, you have to.
Period.
It doesn't matter how fast you fish. You got to be efficient.
He don't even have an electronic sponsor because he's got 16, and he knows, he's got 16 different graphs.
Oh yeah.
He knows that this certain brand's good at this certain brand's good at this, and
We're not going into that either.
they called him up and said, "Hey,
You got to pay for
we
information like that.
want to sponsor you." He's like, "No, I'm gonna use all the graphs." So that's
all right,
it.
Let's see here. Adam Gunn want to know if any of you guys making an appearance at the Super BFL on Lake Norman this weekend. Adam, I don't have a boat right now, so I definitely won't be there.
And plus, it's
signed up today.
season, right?
And it's opening day of bow season. Yeah, Andy, I almost forgot. I'm getting comments from my wife and my wife's friends to stop talking about deer hunting. So, all right.
This is Let's Talk Fish. I got to agree with that. This is Let's Talk
Are
Fish.
either one of y'all fishing the BFL?
I signed up today.
Okay, Brian signed up today. For any of you guys wanting to get your money back, he signed up today. Andy, you fishing it?
No, I'm not. I got a birthday party and coaching ball Saturday.
And deer season.
Yeah, well, I don't think I'm gonna get deer hunting.
All right.
I like deer. I ain't gonna talk about deer hunting no more.
Yeah, it's Let's Talk Fish. We had to put an asterisk beside it until the end of November or end of January. Let's Talk Fish asterisk deer.
Andy wanted to know, did any of you know what chartreuse was before you actually started shopping for baits?
Nope.
I did not.
Well, we knew it at a young age because we fished so young.
Yeah, I mean, we're
Still
talking.
not sure how to spell it though. I'm not.
No, me either.
Can
Can you spell chartreuse off the cuff without looking?
It's not on the paper.
Maybe. I don't know.
Come on,
Well,
Matthew.
if I spell it right, or either one of you gonna know?
We're not going to know, but somebody is going to comment and call you out if
It's
you're
like
wrong.
golf, dude. You ever watch a golf match?
CH, let me ride.
Okay.
This ain't National Spelling Bee. This is Let's Talk Fish. So if I get it wrong,
I can tell you the first person is going to tell you if it's wrong.
I can too. All we're gonna have to do is look at the feed here in a minute. CHARTREUSE.
That
Sounds good
sounds
to me.
right.
Hey, let's see what Emily
Is that right? Can anybody
if
Google
Matt was
that and
right.
see if that was right?
Let me tell you how to spell it. CHART, period.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, good enough. Because if we see that, we know
Which
what
I
that
ain't going
means.
to take time to put period. I'm just going to put CHART and I'm going to know what it is.
All right, guys, we've about caught up on all the questions here.
Somebody
Marcus
asked, I
Keith-
seen one a while ago, what do you eat to sustain your energy?
We got that. We got that the other week. We
Pork
tried.
cracklings.
They must have missed the video I posted up.
It started with granola.
No, I eat Cliff Bars. That's a
Cliff
true.
Bars
So
and
somebody asked
salmon.
us. Let's let everybody know what the question was. Somebody asked, "What's our favorite snacks? What do we like to eat when we're on the boat?" I mean, people don't believe it. They may not believe it from looking at all of us, but we
we've
burn
got
a lot of
three-
calories in a day.
Three
to be
posts
fishing.
says you were correct on your spelling of the word chartreuse.
All right, good enough. Any more questions?
I believe
Anybody wants to know
I think
the
they're
spelling thing, holler
all
at me,
related
not
to it,
Andy and
though.
Bryan.
We need somebody that is not related to Matt to confirm the correct
We
answer.
don't have that yet. All of them are
We didn't get Andy's response on his favorite snacks, because if I know Andy like I think I know Andy from the time that we
I
met,
know this.
probably 15 years ago, if it's not chicken and it doesn't have some kind of breading
got
or
this.
crust around it, he's probably not going to eat it. So okay, go ahead, Brian.
Reese's peanut butter cups.
That is a good one, but I've actually, knocked over my cup. I've actually evolved, guys. Like, I'm getting older and healthier. I eat almonds in the boat now.
Almonds are good.
They are good for you. They're
These
really
are-
good. That is a really good, and actually a former Marine or I can't remember if he was in the Army or Marine. Anyway, he told me that almonds was something that sustained energy and was really, really good to eat during a high calorie burning activity like fishing.
Allie started getting me. I don't know what brand it is, but it's a wasabi soy flavor, and they are delicious.
Now he did tell me you
Are
can't
they as
eat much of
delicious
salt.
as her cookies?
No,
What do you
Matt,
think he's
put
gonna
some
say?
in the cookies. Matt, do that.
Hey, all right. James Miller wants to know, what's your favorite buzz bait?
Oh, favorite buzz bait. I'll let Brian go with that one.
Favorite buzz bait?
A buzz bait's a buzz bait.
Yeah, a buzz
You either
bait's a
got
bu-
one with a clacker or one without a clacker.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm partial to one that I can thread the soft plastic bait up on, something like that, where it's got a smaller head. The biggest thing you want to look at is the hook size and the weight to the blade size. Like a lot of people, they put too small of a blade on like a 3/8 ounce buzz bait or something like that, and I like a bigger blade. Especially so I can slow it down or speed it up. I mean, you can fish it more effectively different ways than if you've got that small blade. You pretty much got to burn it the whole time to keep it on top of the water.
Yeah, I don't think you can get really, there's a lot of us put soft plastics on our buzz bait now. Obviously, you can see it on TV, but picking your buzz bait, don't read too much into that.
Yeah,
just
A good hook.
Yeah,
a good hook. That's right. Good hook's the main thing.
I mean, that's number one for
that
me.
is the number one thing. I mean, and then clacker versus non-clacker, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, have a good little diversity of them.
but not too deep.
Yeah, you don't need
But
to get too
clackers
deep.
versus non-clackers.
Yeah,
I mean,
I carry a handful of both styles in 3/8 and half ounce, and that's pretty much it.
and I have seen where a smaller buzz bait will definitely shine in the fall.
Yes, in the
upcoming
fall.
season, a smaller buzz bait, because you're matching that hatch, that small forward, a little 1/4 ounce or 1/8 ounce
Yeah.
ball bait with a small skirt.
Small mouth. A
Yeah,
small
yeah,
buzz
small
bait,
mouth.
small
Yep.
shallow, small mouth.
All right, so let's see. Caroline Reynolds said Blue Diamond almonds makes the wasabi.
the
Blue Diamond
Caroline
almonds.
We have been blessed by the Caroline Reynolds.
That is her.
All right.
All right, let's see. Has Chris Bishop wants to know something from you, Thrift? Have you ever fished deep at Lake Gaston?
I've never been on Lake Gaston. Never, not once.
Well, that's easy
I've
enough
drove
answer.
So that's a no.
That's a quick answer.
I've drove over it on 85 a couple of times, but I've never launched a boat into it or made a cast. So
Is
no, I
that a
have
good deep
not.
lake? Is that one of them David Wright and Coble and them?
I'm sure it is. I mean, pretty much you get anywhere east of the Yadkin River, David Wright and Cope.
Yeah, they
kick
call
somebody's
one
boat out
cranking.
deep somewhere.
They got one cranking somewhere.
A buddy of mine's trying to play jokes on me. He said in a
Is his
comment.
name Johnny
He
Davis?
said, no, he said Brian said, I heard on long road trips when you're not driving, you like to take naps against your pilly. So I have this weird thing that when I'm not this is me and a buddy of mine that go on, I don't even know if I'm supposed to say these words, deer hunting trip. We go on a deer hunting trip.
Careful.
I don't know what it is, man. I just like to have my pillow in my lap. Like I like to have my arms up on it.
Wiley's the same way.
So
Wiley's like 7, right?
He's 6.
Just riding with it.
Just riding with it.
Just comfort.
He'll be
Sense
7.
of comfort.
October
Yeah, it's just
18th.
weird. It's just a weird
What
thing.
about your blankie from when you was little? You still got it too?
I don't have my blankie from when I was
You
little.
don't have your
anymore,
blankie.
Andy.
I was just checking, man.
All right, it's getting a little personal now. Let's not tell all the secrets about Matt. I'll tell one more on myself because I don't really care if anybody knows. But the first time when my wife got pregnant, when Emily got pregnant with our first child, she got one of those body pillows.
Allie got one too.
Okay, have you ever used it?
I liked it.
Don't lie.
I liked it. I'm not gonna lie.
So our oldest
when
one-
she quit using it, I may have slept with it for a couple weeks.
Brian is
That
Brian
thing
not
is
lying.
amazing. It
So
really
to
is.
this day, I still use. She's 4.5, almost 5, and we have a second one now. And I still use one of those body pillows. I'm
All
telling
right.
you.
See, I didn't use it but a couple of months afterwards.
You're lying.
No, I really did.
It's awesome.
It
If
is
you have
awesome.
never tried
I
one,
agree.
you
It is
gotta
awesome.
try it.
I mean,
I have never tried a body pillow, but I may try to find one
it is
tonight.
pretty awesome. I mean, he's not wrong.
Let's see.
We ain't got a question there about can y'all guys afford a razor or anything? All this facial hair I got going on.
Whoa. I thought that was the cool thing to do in the fall was grow a beard.
Brian,
Was that not cool?
he's jealous he can't grow any.
Maybe.
I thought it was. I thought about shaving today, but I ran out of time.
Blake, I'm not sure if I can translate that. He said, "How little by have both of you been skipping jigs?"
How long?
Okay, I guess he's saying. I guess he's saying how long have both of you been skipping jigs?
Since we was what, 16?
Since we learned how, yeah.
15, 16. I actually learned on Moss Lake first time I ever seen it done.
That's probably where I done
Really?
it. Yeah.
Well, Rick McKenzie took me fishing. He skipped the jig
Well,
under the
Louis,
back
I think
of the
Louis
pontoon.
Holmes showed
I watched
me.
your skipping docks video the other day
Yeah.
on YouTube.
He said Brian could do it better.
Who did?
That's what he said.
Oh,
No.
Mike
I'm
Hansen.
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Andy
He
is
didn't
the
say
best
that.
jig skipper on the planet. That is no doubt. When we go to Lake Norman, I sit on the back and let Andy go to work with his jig.
We do get. Hey, I've got that question. Cause we don't get to fish together a lot anymore. We fished the team tournament a couple of years ago. But how do two guys, that's professionals or whatever, fish a team tournament? Well, I just said he's the best deep water fisherman in the world. So when we're fishing deep, I get back there and shut up.
Well, when we on the bank, I get back there and let Andy go down the bank.
Yeah,
Because this man could leave the trolling motor on 100%, take his little half-ounce jig, and he'll hit every hole and not let off the trolling motor.
That's true. I have seen
And
Andy.
I can't do that. I used to could almost
could do it.
Almost.
But you
Was that one word? Used to could?
used to could.
Used to could.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah, you pretty much you called me something before we even got on the air, so that's what them used to could.
All right, guys, we're almost up to 100 live followers right now. We're at 98, 99.
Let's bust 100.
Wendell, we got to bust 100, y'all. I don't think this is our third show we hadn't busted. We've had over 100 on, but not at one time, right, Jeff?
I think so.
I think so.
So
Something
if we
like that.
get over 100 on at one time,
Andy's going to take credit for it, y'all. So 99's good. No, all right. Let's see.
I think Matt's getting a little concerned about his job.
Wendell Leonard said, "Do you fish with the same rods from one season to the next, or do you get all new rods for each season?"
we go around the room for that.
Well, I mean, I'm sure all of us are in the same boat. We all have rod sponsors, so
Yeah.
most all of us are getting new rods each season.
A few carryovers, but mostly we get new rods.
I carry a lot of.
I
I'm a
believe that.
creature of
I
habit.
believe that. I've been in this building.
Yeah, well, you do get attached to certain rods.
Yeah, I mean,
regardless
I
if-
got certain rods I like. They're identical to other rods I got. They all the same action, same size, but I like this rod.
Yeah, and that's true, actually, especially some of these bigger companies. I mean, even still, I get attached to specific rods, and maybe it's a sentimental thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
It's like Matt's pillow, except I got a rod. Matt's got a pillow, I got my rod.
And his blankie.
There's no blankie involved in the pillow, just a pilly.
That pillow's going to be allowed for at least another 10 episodes.
Yeah, probably. I
think the pillow should be the special guest next week.
Okay, there you go. We got a chair for it. I don't want my pilly sitting where Andy's sitting. So anyway, So most of us. We roll those rods out at the end of the year, and we'll get new ones next year, but we do carry over a few here and there. Next question. Let's see. All right. We broke 100, Andy. Thanks for being on the show, Andy.
Boom.
We're at 110 right now where we were.
You know, Matt said we was going to eat after this, so.
Yeah, Chad, let's see. Okay, what is your goal? Gene said, what is your goal for 2018 for each of you? That's a good question. My goal is to... Every year, if I can outperform Bryan Thrift,
Why I gotta have a target on my back?
Because that means I'm guaranteed to make the cup. I've got a really good shot at winning Angler of the Year. So there you go. And honestly, my goal is probably similar to Brian's. Try to make a run at the Angler of the Year. In the meantime, cash as many checks as possible, and make that Forest Wood Cup. Andy?
Yeah, mine's a little bit different because I had a bad stretch this year that was really bad, but there was some tournaments where I didn't fish bad. You know, I just didn't get the right bite. So at the end of the day, my goal is at the end of the day, when you look back on it, hey, did I make a bad decision or did I just not get the bites I needed to get? So it's kind of a day-to-day thing for me instead of a year thing.
Well, we're all learning every time. Of us, and I don't care the best anglers in the world, which one of them's sitting right across the table from me, we learn something new every time we're on the water.
But you know, y'all both know that you've had days when you think, I didn't do anything wrong. I just didn't get.
I
caught 2-pounders instead of 4-pounders.
As long as you don't beat yourself, I feel like you got to call it a good day on the water.
At Lake Cumberland this year, the one that Scott won, Martin, and I got on a jerkbait deal in practice, and it was identical to Scott's winning pattern. Same areas of the lake, same specific pattern. And in practice, I was catching 5, 6,
Tell
7,
us about this pattern.
18. Well, you saw it. It's on TV. Everybody can see it.
Break it down.
And it was 18-inch limit on smallmouth there. So that was kind of the killer. With that being said, I know I was doing exactly what I needed to do to catch them, but I was catching 17 3/4-inch fish all day.
That's a bad deal.
And that's just a bad deal. So I ended up having to scrounge around and catch a limit of largemouths and spots each day to just, I think I finished 55th or something, to survive the tournament because I could have blanked. But I know that I was doing exactly what I needed to be doing in the right areas, just maybe at the wrong times, you know, and that's all there was to it. So like Andy said.
And that place was weird because I caught a couple 18-inchers, but you would catch 12-incher, 15-incher, 12-incher, 17-incher, 12-incher, 18.5-incher.
It was hard to specifically
you couldn't target
18, 19-inch smallmouth. So Scott did good. He ended up catching 4 or 5 every day, I think, of keeper smallmouth, and that's what carried him through. Let's see. Y'all help me with the questions here if I get behind.
I'm getting hungry.
Let's see.
We're back to part 8. And some Jimmy
Matt's, I think
What we got? Does that say 115 on there?
122.
121. Let's see. All right, we'll take a couple more questions. I know we're running up on close to an hour here, aren't we, Jeff?
We're running close to Jimmy John's time.
Okay. All right, guys.
What time they close?
Let's
It's 8.
Let's do 2 or 3 questions, and let's do 2 or 3 more questions. Andy, why don't you find one on there that we can answer?
Oh, Lord.
Choose wisely.
Do you try to get 5 fish first, or let's see? Let me get over here. I'm having to read off.
We got that. We had that question.
You
the
already
other
had
week.
that one?
Well, you didn't answer. You got
Yeah,
it.
Andy, you answered. Yeah.
Chris Bishop, do you try to get 5 fish first, or go for the big ones early, and then try to limit out? Chris, that depends on the lake we're fishing. If it's a lake where we know it's going to take a lot of weight to get a check, or it's a notorious big fish lake, then you got to go straight for the big ones. But if it's a tough fishery and you know a way you can catch a limit, then you can go catch a limit first. So I think that really depends on the history of the fish, the history of the fishery that you're fishing.
I agree.
All right, so that was real similar to what Brian and I
see
said.
a question from my buddy Chad Wiley.
Okay.
Opens or coastas? I'm fishing the coastas. I know
That's a hot topic right now.
Yeah,
Just
the
go to
guys,
social
yeah,
media and read.
the Opens have completely restructured their format this year. The Bass, and Chad was talking about the Bass Opens or the FLW Coastal Series, which would be your two AAA circuits, so to speak, from each division. The Elites have the Opens right underneath them. We have the Coasters right underneath us. So that being said, go ahead, Brian.
I'm going with the Coasters. I like the format. It's a large crowd. Payout's awesome.
Let's give the facts.
That's where I'm at. I'm with the payout. Like the Coasters are averaging, 85 to 100,000 for first.
I haven't seen one pay below 90 hardly.
No,
now
that's where I'm at.
So
but that's if you got a Ranger.
Yeah.
That's if you got a Ranger.
So the facts,
but
even your top 10 money is better, much better. That being said, from a money perspective, Coasters hands down. The Opens, I think that when they restructured what they did, they're restructuring it very similar to what the Coasters are already doing. They added a championship. For years, they've never had a championship.
I didn't know they did.
2006 was the last year they had a championship.
Okay, so they had a championship back in 2006. Andy's our bass guy, so he can answer our bass questions.
I'm both. I was FLW.
Well, I know. You fished bass now.
You fished the Opens back then, did you?
2010 when I first.
Andy won an Open.
He did. He's won 2 Opens.
2 Opens, I'm sorry. So...
Or is it 3 now?
2.
The structure, the new structure of the Opens, what's going to be interesting is field size to me and payout. They did not release the payout. They did not release what a maximum field capacity
Yeah, they released
would be.
the field size.
They did.
Max field is 200.
So they will max it out at 200. Okay, so that's same
that's
as
pretty good.
Well, Coasters actually has taken
we've
above that before, but with that the payouts increase.
Yeah, the payouts increase with
I've seen second place. Well, I ended up second at Grand this year. We only had 100. We had 165 boats, but got almost 17,000. Yeah. Second place is paid. You finished second twice, and you got the 20s both times.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So great money in the Coast. It's a championship format. So the Opens. Tell us. I'm not real familiar with the Opens championship format and the new format. I know it's 2 divisions, 4 tournaments per division.
Yeah.
And the Coasters are 4 divisions.
There's 4. We got Southeast,
Northerns, Centrals,
and Westerns.
So there's 4 coastal divisions, 4 tournaments each, 3 tournaments. 3 tournaments each with a championship.
Yep.
Bass is 2 divisions, 4 tournaments each with a championship. Okay.
And the championship is really small. Only like 28 guys is going to make the championship.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So only like 10 from each division and
in the points.
In the points, 10 from each division, and the winner of each division. And I don't think we know enough to accurately make an assessment here today because this is so new. Now in the old format, then we could have said yes, this is the strong points of the Open, this is the strong points of the Coastal.
I agree.
And back, I always thought one of the strong points of the Coastals was a championship.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Because, it's just cool to qualify for a championship. It don't matter if you're fishing a team tournament, if you're fishing a semi-professional tournament, it's always cool to qualify for a championship.
Because that's where you're fishing for no entry fee for a big chunk of money.
Yeah, it's even if you take the money, factor out of it, it's
can't
just
take the money factor.
The satisfaction.
You can't for us. But a lot of the guys that fish the Coasters,
they have full-time jobs.
It's not about the money. To us, this is a business. This is how we feed our families. This is all about the money. So we look at the money aspect, but them guys just want to say, I made a championship, which is a good feather in your hat. So I always thought a championship was a really good deal. Now the Opens have one. It's going to be a really small field size in the Open Championship, but now they got a championship. So it's a wait and see deal. We're going to see how this new Opens thing plays out. They both have championships now, so that's a really, really good thing.
I agree.
Yeah, and both of those championships, there are avenues to qualify for the Classic and or the Cup.
Yep.
So you do have an option to fish the biggest tournaments in bass fishing with either path.
Right, and you talked about field size. I'm pretty sure, and they have in the past, the Opens will go over 200. It says 200 max, but from what I understand, a lot of times, if you pay for all 4, you're going to get in. You see what I'm saying? So if you pay for individual tournaments, you may not. They're not going to go over 200 if guy just tries to fish the first tournament. But if you pay for all 4, then there's a good.
How long have they been
doing
that?
Well, now you're gonna get me. That go. I ain't gonna say.
The reason I asked,
Let me back
and I'm
up.
not putting you on the spot,
No,
is
you are.
because somebody that I know very well, his name might
Matt
be
Arey.
Matt Arey,
Yeah.
actually signed up and did not get in, got placed on the waiting list,
Right,
and
right.
ended up getting all the way up to second or third.
Yeah,
I didn't get in the first one, and then they called me and said, "You want to fish second one?" I said, "Well, no, I didn't want to fish."
Yeah, let me
fish
back.
all
Let
of
me
them."
back up on that. I ain't gonna say that they. I know in the past they have went over full field because they increased the payout, but they may only go to like 220.
Right.
You see what
right.
I'm saying?
Yeah, you have to stop somewhere.
And
But
I-
yeah, we've got
to
the
have
opens this
cutoff.
year and the coasters too.
Yeah.
With the pass that these anglers have now to make the classic or make the cup.
Yeah.
There are going to be. I mean, the opens. There's going to be 300 or 400 guys trying to get in that East Division.
That's right.
At least.
Yeah, I mean, they
would have what 260,
Oh,
270.
yeah, it was
I think
unbelievable
last year they
participation.
capped it at 250. Like that's
Right.
all they would take was 250.
So they stopped it at 250.
Yeah,
So
and then
long
we've
story short,
filled up a lot of
When
250s.
we read these signs that say max field 200, coastal or opens, we don't know because they always go over. Some don't get in, some get in, but they do go over what the printed max field is.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with the amount of co-anglers too.
Yes, that is true.
I mean,
that is
because
very,
you gotta
very
have
true.
pairing.
You
Hey,
can't.
all right, Brian's got a great question for Andy. Let's do 2 more questions and that's it, guys. That's all we'll have time for tonight. Jeff over here starving to death. We got to feed him something.
I'm still looking for the spider.
Andy?
We got to go.
How do you feel about the new no help rule with bass? First, tell everybody exactly what that rule entails.
So it's still under construction, actually, but they're trying to extend the no information all the way out to when the schedule is released.
Which has already been released.
Correct. Typically, we had a 30-day off limits, and I'm all for it. 1,000% all for it. I love it. In my past, the help that I got is from 2 pros. And it's just pros sharing information. I talked to Brian a lot.
Well, that's the best help.
I talked to
hands
Brian
down.
and I talked to Jamie Horton about lakes that they've been to, lakes that I'm going to. So as far as the local help, and I think the local help's what they're trying to cut out, man. But that's just a topic that's been around our sport forever.
Yeah, for
I don't
sure.
think you'll ever get away with it. I think Major League Fishing is the limiting the information. Major League Fishing by far is the levelest playing field. Now, with that being said, Major League Fishing is a format for certain people, and Brian's probably I said he's the best deep water fisherman in the world. He's also one of the best practice fishermen in the world. So a tour like FLW or Bass showcases his practice skills,
Right.
Where Major League Fishing would not showcase that.
Right.
So trying to create the perfect format in this sport's hard. I think Major League Fishing's got the perfect format as far as no help. No information. But then again,
Well, they enforce it properly.
They enforce the crap out of it. Yeah, I mean they really enforce it, but there again you limit the guys that's really good at practicing. So we strive for the perfect format in this sport.
Yeah, as
but
long
we'll
as
never
it's
see
the
it.
same rules for everybody, and that's the thing. I mean, it's just like laws. I mean, it keeps the honest man honest.
That's the problem
Yeah.
with the help rule. It hurts the honest man more than it does the non-honest.
Well,
man.
and I think our help rules are, you have to really concentrate around those words, intentionally soliciting. Any of us can walk into a tackle shop and somebody,
Oh yeah.
say Jeff standing there, and he says, "Hey man, they're biting a whatever colored jig in 10 foot of water." I mean, you're not going to stop that. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
Guy yells from his dock to Andy, says, "Hey man, I got a brush pile right there. Sorry sir, I can't get any help."
But you already know, he's
But
already-
here's the deal, and I know y'all not in Major League Fishing, but the way that's handled in Major League Fishing is, if I got a guy pulls up in the parking lot and says, "Hey, I crushed him on a buzzbait today,"
You got to tell everybody.
I have to tell the
Has to
commissioner, Don
That's-
Rux, who relays the information in our meeting, pre-tournament meeting. Hey, some guy pulled up to Andy today. He said he crushed him on a buzzbait. Andy, is that all he told you? Yes, sir. That's all he told
So
me.
it becomes fulfilled knowledge.
information.
So
Yeah.
it becomes everybody I'm competing against that day knows
That's interesting.
exactly what I said.
that's
so,
pretty neat.
So what you're saying in
But
our other two
you
trails,
can do that with Major League Fishing because it's such a small field.
exactly. You can't
Yeah,
do
you
that
can't
with
do
our
it.
other trails,
Right.
And that's the reason I'm saying it's just so hard to create a perfect situation.
Okay, one more question, y'all. Let's see. Jonathan Frady, you're the last question of the night. Could you break down the difference the different jig color selection for the different times of the year. This is good. We talked about crankbait colors earlier. Break down the jig colors for different times of the year. Also, whether to skip it or just hit certain parts of the docks or brush. Oh, okay, sorry. I started to chuckle a little bit because I thought he meant to skip it under the dock or just hit the dock or just hit certain parts of the dock. Sorry. No, he meant whether to skip it or just hit certain parts of the dock or brush, etc., and go on. I know this is very conditional. Got two of the best jig fishermen, if not the best jig fisherman in the world across the table for me. Andy, I'll let you start.
Jig color, we keep it pretty simple. That's some type of green pumpkinish. And a black and blue basically is two of the colors we use. So some type of brown and green pumpkin, and then black and blue. And for me, the black and blue is not so much as a dirty water thing, even a little bit. It may be a little bit dirty water. It's more of a northern thing.
Yeah.
You know, the regions of our country we go into, sometimes the jig color will be different.
Or like river type situations, like river fish, like a black and blue jig.
Right. Northern fish like a black and blue
Well,
jig.
there's different types of crawdads all over.
Yeah.
That's
The
correct.
number one rule of thumb is if a green pumpkin chunk looks good on it, it's a good jig.
Yeah.
We do. I mean,
It's a good jig.
Yeah, exactly what they said. I'll echo what they said. Black and blue, green pumpkins, browns is all I carry. I don't know about y'all. Y'all carry? Andy, you got any hot pink jigs or anything like that?
No.
Okay. So.
We carry some white ones, swimming white ones.
Yeah, that's right. White jigs. Yeah, I forgot that.
And then the hitting every part of the dock. You know, when you start, you have to. But some of the best days we've had on the water is when we really narrow it down. And a fish will pattern himself on a dock.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
So I'm not. You know, they may be under the walkway. That's a typical place they get. Not 100% of the fish in the lake is going to be on the walkway, but 90% of
big fish are.
That's right, or 90% of them. So when I fish a dock, 100% of my cast is going under the walkway. Now while I'm fishing that dock, I may hit the first pole and I may hit the corner of the dock and I go to the next one. And on the next one, I may hit the back corner of the dock, but I'm going under the walkway, and I may hit the third pole. But
kind of vary it up.
I varied it up a little bit, but 100% I'm going under the walkway.
Well, and here's an interesting tidbit too for everybody on jig fishing, and this is the way I'll approach a dock sometimes. And y'all tell me if you do anything different because I want to know. And I'll typically start by hitting the outside corners, you know, the very outside poles, and then I'll go up underneath it. And reason being, if a fish is suspended, sometimes I get in a hurry. If I skip a jig up under dock, then I get close to the outside pole, and he's on that pole, and I can start winding it in, then I have him chase it out or something like that, and it ends up I realizing how stupid that was. But it's the same way I approach a laydown or something. I'll flip the outside of it, then I'll start flipping the heart of it.
Yeah, I mean,
unless you get dialed into a specific
but I don't know that I agree with that, to be honest with you, because the deal is sometimes they'll swim out from under the dock and won't bite it. But if you put it under his house, he's going to bite it first time. You see what I'm saying? So if you pull him out from under the dock, he may get too good of a look at you, bait, and not bite it. And I'm going to tell you what.
You mean if you land on that pole and it draws him out to it?
It draws him out.
Okay.
So he's looking at it longer than versus you've laid it in there on his head and he just goes down and eats it, but he's got to swim 5 feet to eat it.
And I'm sure that's conditional too, depending on how aggressive the fish are.
But typically, as soon as I can get under the heart, the meat of the dock, the darkest, shadiest place, that's where I'm going. I'm not going to fish around the corners and go under there. And I'm going to tell you, we went to Lake Hickory. This is a good illustration of that. And he got into this swim bait kick. He done spent $5,000 on swim bait.
$5,000?
Whatever.
10,000.
Yeah, probably 10,000. He's throwing these big swim bait and these great big fish. He's following these.
Some of that tater hog stuff.
Yeah, following these swim bait, you know, these great big old fish. Keep following him out. He's like, man, look at that one. Man, look at that one. I'm like, dude, when you put that thing in the box
so I can catch one of these fish.
Hey, I got defense for this. Look here, we've been fishing this lake for 20 years. These fish have been under these docks for 20 years. We've never caught these fish in 20 years.
At least you got to see
on that jig. We didn't even know they was there. Until I start throwing my swim bait and they 7, 8, 10 pounders following it out, and he's thinking he can catch every one of them.
That's the thing about big swim baits. You can take them to normal island, all them places, and they'll show you what lives in the lake, but they will hurt your feelings.
What I was really doing was showing Andy how bad he was with a jig.
That's true. Well, we catch you showed us what we didn't catch. Yeah. We'd catch a 5-pounder every now and then. Yeah. You pulled every single 5-pounder out from under that top. It was amazing.
All right, guys. Everybody, thanks so much for watching. Andy, thanks for being on the show, man. It's been a blast.
Enjoyed
it.
We knew it'd be a good time with Andy. We'll definitely have him back if he'll have us back. If we can drag him out of the deer woods here the next couple months.
You said deer again.
But
I feel like I'm going to be doing the show by myself from now till January. Me and Jeff.
I'll be here. It's Tuesday nights at 7. It's after dark. I'm good, man.
Oh, yeah.
Time's getting ready to change. Yeah.
That's right.
Guys,
We're
thanks
good.
for watching. Don't forget, submit your pre-show questions online, letstalkfish.com. Make sure you follow and like us on Facebook and Instagram. Till next time, when we can't actually go out and fish, we're going to talk fish. So we'll see y'all then.